Hi. Today we are starting the computing research methods. That's a new unit, and learning outcomes are one, two, three. There are three learning outcomes, and let us we start with the little definition of the research. What the research is? The research is the systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach a new conclusions. So whenever you want to study something, but study and going into the depth of the study, which is the investigation of any material or source or any knowledge, whatever, that should help you to establish certain facts and should give you certain conclusion. So the research is investigating something systematically. If you have a systematic approach, if you have a linear approach, then that's a research. However, if you are doing something investigation, but you are not doing in a systematic way, then you won't be able to get a proper conclusion. So that's why a research methodology has been uh, proposed, worked on, so that whenever you want to do the research, whenever you want to investigate anything, then you need to do it systematically. So this unit, which is the computing research methods, helps you to research in a systematic way. So we'll discuss today the understanding computer-based research techniques, which includes the research techniques, sampling techniques, ethics and research, data analysis techniques, and tools. So we start with analyze the computer-based research techniques, then different sampling techniques, ethical issues, and common data analysis tools and techniques. Research techniques. Desk research. The desk research is also known as the secondary research, involves the summary, collection, collation, and synthesis of existing research rather than primary research, in which data are collected from, for example, research subjects or experiments. In other words, gathering and analyzing information already available in print or published on the internet. For example, if you wanted to create a very good database management system, and before you create a new database management system, you will have to do some existing research, that what type of the database systems have been developed, what type of problems they have faced, and then you need to do some secondary research first, which would be the desk research. You will not need to create on your own from the scratch initially, but you need to look at that what is the existing research being done. Then you will have some kind of knowledge that perhaps you should continue to create a new one, or that your secondary research will help you to get some output. Ethnography. Ethnography is a systematic study of people and cultures. It is designed to explore cultural phenomena where the researcher observes society from the point of view of the subject of the study. And ethnography is a means to represent graphically and in writing the culture of a group. Basically, you might have heard about anthropology. These are the social terms, these are the social sciences, and ethnography is a term when you study about the people and culture and come up with some meaning to these people and study about them. So ethnography is related with a social science, comes from the anthropology, social sciences. Focus groups. Focus group is a form of qualitative research in which a group of people are asked about their perceptions, opinions, beliefs, and attitudes towards a product, service concept, advertisement, idea, or packaging. Questions are asked in an interactive group setting where participants are free to talk. So you can invite some people, they will talk about something in a group of members. During this process, the researcher either takes notes or records the vital points he or she is getting from the group. Like you must have seen certain TV shows, they call up, invite some, group of people, 4, 5, not too many, and they set up a kind of talk, and then the keynote speaker collects or concludes the group discussion in a way. That's also a kind of research. Interview. An interview is a conversation where questions are asked and answers are given in common parallel. The word interview refers to an one-to-one conversation with one person acting in a role of an interview and the other in the role of interviewee. So there are only two people. One is called the interview and other one is called the interviewee. The interviewer asks the questions. The interviewee responds with participants taking turns while talking. So like, it is depending on the interviewer that how he is asking the questions, giving different turns, different questions, cross questions in different ways. So interviews usually involve a transfer of information from interviewee to interviewer, which is usually a primary purpose of the interview, although the information transfers can happen in both directions simultaneously. Maybe the interviewer could also convey some information to the interviewee. Online research community. An online research community is a part of an emerging and developing area in market research, making use of developments in Web 2.0 technologies and online communities. They allow a qualitative research to be conducted efficiently and deeply online. Both public and private online communities offer opportunities for research, but many brands are way of sharing company information openly. So online community is like a social media where you can research from them that how your products or anything that you want to get qualitatively research about their opinions using their community, which is online. So if you want to do the research, let's say, then online research community is one kind of research technique that you target them to get to get some research opinion about a product or anything. Mobile search. Mobile search is an evolving branch of information retrieval services that is centered on the convergence of mobile platforms and mobile phones, or that it can be used to tell information about something or other mobile devices. Web search engine's ability in the mobile form allows users to find mobile content on websites which are available to mobile devices on mobile network. As this happens, mobile content shows a media shift towards the mobile multimedia. Simply put, mobile search is not just a spatial shift of PC web search to mobile equipment, but is a witness more of a tree-like branching into specialized segments of mobile broadband, mobile content, both of which show a fast-paced evolution. Nowadays, you can see that we don't get any information not only on the internet using the computer, but mobile itself gives you a lot of information regarding the existing businesses, businesses, places, and much more things around you. So if you want to target the research in other than computing, other than computer, then mobile is also one of the research way which you can use. as a mobile equipment for the research purpose, that how people are using the mobile for different purposes. So mobile helps to be the research to be done for particular the mobility purpose on different places. Like you must have seen the apps like TripAdvisor, the Just Eat, or many things. They help you the use of mobile. Survey, a method of sociological investigation that uses question-based or statistical surveys to collect information about how people think and act. For example, a possible application of survey research to a business context might involve looking at how effective mass media is in helping form and shift public opinion. So surveys, for example, you want to survey that from someone that how the mass media like can be any media, newspapers, the television, anything. You can survey that how it has given a help, a shift in public opinions using those, or it could be any opinion generally about anything to be surveyed from different people, from different group of peoples, but it can be open. Let's say, for example, you want to survey that how which mobile phone is good, then perhaps you could ask the questions from 100 people and they will come up with their own opinion, and further the question arises that what type of the questions they will be using. They could use the closed-ended questions or they could use the open-ended questions. Really depends. So further we will be discussing into the detail each of the techniques that you need to adopt for your research. Sampling. Sampling is the process of selecting a number of individuals for a study in such a way that the individuals represent the larger group from which they were selected. So, for example, if you wanted to do a research, let's say there are 10,000 people, yeah, and you wanted to get some opinion about something, then it won't be the case that you may survey, you may investigate the 10,000 people, but you can select a region or a small quantity of people to get the research done. So that particular quantity to be surveyed, to be interviewed, to be focus grouped, or in different ways, whichever the research method you use, is called the sampling. So one of the type of sampling is the probability based sampling. The probability sampling is a method in any method of sampling that utilizes some form of a random selection. So for example, if there are the 10,000 people, then it's the researcher selection that he or she will select some random number of people. In order to have a random selection method, you must set up some process or procedure that assures that the different units in your population have equal probabilities of being chosen. So it shouldn't be the case that if you wanted to do some research from a country which is based on the rural and urban area, and you assume that okay, either you do the research in the urban area or rural area, it won't make any difference. But no, the choice of the area matters. If you wanted to get the research done on the any metropolitan type of the research, then you definitely need to select the area within the urban, within the city. If you wanted to do any research related with like countryside or the crops or anything else, then probably you will need to do some in other area, the rural area. So humans have long participated various forms of random selection, such as picking a name out of a hat or choosing a short straw. These days, we tend to use computers as the mechanism of generating random numbers as the basis of random selection. Selective. It's a technique. Purposive sampling is also known as a purposive sampling, also known as a judgmental or selective or subjective sampling, is a type of non-probability sampling technique. So you don't need to be focused on the probability, considering the probability that okay, we should consider probably this area based on some certain reasons, but no, in the selective, the non-probability sampling focuses on sampling techniques where the units that are investigated are based on judgment of a researcher. So the judgment, the researcher selects that particular sampling on a basis of his own selection due to some reasons. Convenience-based techniques. Convenience sampling, also known as availability sampling, is a specific type of non-probability sampling method that relies on a data collection from population members who are conveniently available to participate in a study. So for example, if you wanted to do any study, then possibly instead of going to people from door to door or going any offices or any places, possibly you start with a Facebook polls or questions can be mentioned as a popular example of convenience sampling. Yeah, so that's also the convenience based sampling. Ethnographic methods, there are 4 types of data collections used in ethnographic research. So the research type could be the participants and non-participant observation, semi-structured interviews, unstructured interviews, collected material. So basically these are the sampling techniques not only from the computing research, but they have been included into this syllabus from other areas. So you can further go to on this link to study more about this in detail about this topic. So let us come to the another technique which should be relevant. Now we come to the ethics and research. Now we talk about the ethical standards. The research ethics is defined here to be the ethics of planning, conducting, and reporting of the research. So obviously, the moral values or ethics are applied in research as well. It is not the case that you can do research on anything without any problem. But no, these are the ethics. These are certain standards. There are certain limitations. There are certain rules there, such as social responsibility, human rights, animal welfare, compliance with the law, and public health and safety. You cannot ignore these concerns to carry out your research. For example, it is clear that the research ethics should include protection of human and animal subjects. So if you are doing a research, then you shouldn't be harming to human or animals. However, not all researchers use human or animal subjects, nor all ethical dimensions of research confined solely to protection for research subjects. So it really depends that whether the humans are involved or not. Possibly in the computing research, certain humans and or animals may not be relevant, but that's the ethics that you should consider. Other ethical challenges are rooted in many dimensions of research, which include collections, use, and interpretation of research data. So, for example, you can only collect, use, or interpret any data whichever is under certain boundaries and allowance. For example, you cannot research the data on the sensitive data, or for example in any military type or in atomic energy or any sensitive areas. So you have to be concerned about it, and you cannot do the research by violating the laws. For example, another methods for reporting and reviewing research plans or findings. So even if you find the research, and you have to be well aware for the methods for how you will be reporting or reviewing the research plans. Relationships among researchers with one another. It also matters that some of the research cannot be completed on our own, but definitely you need a collaboration of the research. The relationship between the researchers and those that will be affected by their research. Obviously, if you are doing a research on your own, but that research can have some relation with any institution or any people, that you will have to do in a collaboration. Means for responding to misunderstandings, disputes, or misconduct. So obviously, there can be certain situations that misunderstandings can happen, disputes can happen, misconduct can happen, and you will have to be very careful about it. For example, if you say that in a particular product something is not to the standard, so if you say something, then you will have to be very careful that some legal or any other problems can happen after producing your research. It can become a contradictory topic. So options for promoting ethical conduct in research. So promotion of the ethical research should also be considered. Ethics principles in general should be beneficence to do good. Non-maleficence means to do no harm. Respect for autonomy, you should have independence. You should respect of someone's independence. There should be fairness, there should be truthfulness, there should be justice. Ethics approval is getting the ethical approval on a research before starting it. If you are not allowed to do any research from the your institution, from the government, and anything else, then you can not start your research. Data analysis techniques. Simply, in the research, there are two types of the research techniques or methods. One is the qualitative, another is the quantitative. The qualitative data analysis is the range of processes and procedures whereby we move from a qualitative data that have been collected in the form of explanation, understanding, or interpretation of people and situations we are investigating. The qualitative data analysis is usually based on an interpretative philosophy. You don't get the answers into the qualitative methods. For example, you can't say that you cannot conclude directly. For example, if you surveyed 100 people and you say that, okay, that is a confirmed research that they are thinking, but the qualitative methods allow you to interpret their opinions to come to a conclusion into a figure. Let's say, okay, for example, 30%. But in the quantitative methods, the quantitative data analysis methods, it is a systematic approach to investigations during which a numerical data is collected and the researcher transforms what is collected or observed into numerical data. So the quantitative method, the computing research is a quantitative research, while the qualitative methods or the qualitative research is concerned with the sociological research, which is based on the beliefs, opinions of the people, which cannot be accurate 100%. The data analysis tools, the analysis of the data is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling data with the goal of discovering useful information, suggesting conclusions, and supporting decision making. Some of the tools are available that can help you to analyze the data. For example, you can find many. SPSS is a software which is used in the research. There are more other softwares like QDA Miner, the Atlas TI, Hyper Research, MaxQDA, NVIVO. So there are many. Day by day the researchers are creating the software so that you can analyze, process the data statistically into the different forms, to conclude the reports and the concluding the representation of data in different ways. So you can further investigate these tools. So it's all about the research ethics, analysis techniques, tools, and sampling techniques, research techniques, and some basic terminologies. So you would have definitely discovered the new terminologies here, which may be new for you, but you can always go through into the in-depth definition of these terms like ethnography, like focus group, certain the difficult English words which have been used traditionally into the research terms, and probably you may not like the paralines, the words, there are other words that you can always go into their meanings, alternative forms, and you will get more. Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next lecture.